Kingdom OutKast podcast is a platform for us to simply express our thoughts, opinions, and experiences concerning our faith and events around the world. We're here for your entertainment, encouragement, and edification of the body. We're humans like yourself and are not the final authority of views expressed. Only the Most High Yah is. Feel free to agree, disagree, edify, question, and comment however you're led to in the comments. We are many members of one body under Messiah and look forward to communing as a family with mutual respect. Shalom and enjoy the pod. Kingdom OutKast.
Welcome to Kingdom OutKast podcast. Today is our episode number 25. We are your hosts. My name is Deja.
Eliyahu.
Mashak, Brandon Mashak.
And we are here podcasting the
Yet-
truth of the way.
Yet again.
Yet again.
This is kind of a milestone podcast just because it's quarter of a century.
Yeah, it is big. 25.
You know what I mean? The prime.
Yeah.
Prime time. I remember prime time 25.
I mean, guys, we've stuck through it. You know what I mean?
We really have. We could have quit at 10.
Yeah.
We could have quit at 14.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not stopping that, Gunman. We got more content to put out. We got a lot more subjects to talk about. It's exciting.
For sure.
Let's get into it then. How's everybody's week?
My week's been really, really good. I worked some overtime this week, so I've been working a lot. But hey, I'm getting paid, baby. So I can't complain. Yeah, this week I really I got to celebrate Passover with my brothers at Brother Harold's, and that was really just a blessing to go through like the scripture, and just to like hear all the wisdom that each of them have. It was really a blessing. That was good, and then we got to blow the shofars at like midnight, and I know those neighbors were like, "What in the heck is this sound?" But
They were like, Jesus is coming.
all right, basically.
Look out your window.
It was pretty dope though. But this week, I got like 15 more pages of the 13th tribe, so I'm almost done with that book. I'm so thankful for it, and I've started on another book. Yeah, on the way of the Essenes. So it's kind of like
It's called On the Way of the Essenes?
No, it's just called The Way of the Essenes. Christ's Hidden Life Remembered. So I'll just show it to you.
Yeah.
This is about like his life outside of what's in the 66.
Yeah, but it's starting off as like a story. So like I'm only on like the second chapter, and it's talking like it's from the perspective of this young kid who is in the city of Joppa, and basically he's like starting to learn a little bit more about faith and like the tradition of the elders from an older guy. And I haven't got too far into it, but I'm starting to see the introduction of a couple of people. So
Is it like a fictional story, or is it like supposed to be from like writings from that actual time from witnesses, or?
I think it is it's a story of someone's life. During that time. So, and he's basically
Hey
in a
Siri,
scene
set a reminder
or
to ask
Nazarene.
Elijah about this book of Essenes in 90 minutes.
I'll just send you a picture of it, bro. But yeah, so that's been good. And then so I've been reading the book of Acts, and I finished that. So I'm like, okay, now I should probably read something along those, like around that time frame. So I was like, it just kind of makes sense. But it's been a blessing, you know. Really just trying to focus more on the Most High, and like, you know, not use Shabbats as like, and just the weekends in general as a way to like really chill, but like kind of just focus on God.
You want to use it to chill and focus on it.
Yeah, well, like chill, like, you know, my old definition of chilling would just be like drinking, getting lit.
Rest in the Most High is what
You
he's
want
saying.
to actually rest and
Yeah.
not make an excuse to enjoy yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Personal pleasures.
Yeah,
And
personal
body's tired the next day from
Yeah.
smoking and drinking.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And
That's
all
actually
the
Is
I
this
like
because of Wednesday night? Whatever. I missed Wednesday, but y'all were texting about it.
Wednesday night service was really good. It was a thorough word on
Being sober-minded.
Being sober-minded, but like what the word says about drinking wine. And like back in the day, the Hebrews, they drink wine like during their meals. Like not to get drunk, but just like as a drink.
They probably had a slight buzz.
Yeah.
It's cool tipsy, but not drunk.
Mm-hmm. And so Pastor was just kind of going through the word, what it talks about drinking wine, but then talking about how drunkenness is a sin, which I get, because I've made some terrible decisions drinking.
And obviously, certain people started questioning about weed towards the end of the.
What was said about weed?
Well, one of our boys was questioning it. Yosef would be very adamant. And it was basically what Pastor Omar's conclusion was is that healing benefits and CBD and all that, great. But he doesn't think, of course, the smoking, is actually a thing that was encouraged, which I personally agree with. I think smoking came from Egypt. That was more an Egyptian custom. There's actually different hieroglyphs that show Egyptian smoking. And this is coming from somebody who's an avid smoker, you guys, by the way. But so yeah, it makes sense, By the way, you reading that book of the Essenes in Acts is very in alignment. Because in the book of Acts it reveals how Paul was the ringleader of the Nazarenes.
I literally just read that, yeah.
And the Nazarenes and Essenes were like this. Their only difference was Essenes stayed celibate because they believed like maintaining your seed. Also, it was like keeping the power of God within you for healing and miracles, which that actually makes sense due to some words that the Messiah spoke. But the Nazarenes, took it, believed in marriage, themselves. Technically, Paul would have been in the scene because he chose not to marry. But he probably looked at himself as a Nazarene.
Yeah,
could have gone either way. But yeah, but that's all I got on that. You can go next.
My week has been definitely productive. I started meal prepping my lunch, which has gone very well. So each week I'll buy chicken and basically make wraps. I started making cucumber salad with like goat cheese and tomatoes and honey and so forth, which is amazing. I had a hard conversation with my dad last Sunday. We have family dinner every Sunday, and so I just like have had it on my heart to kind of like say something to my dad about his lifestyle, and I feel like I want to see him get a lot more serious about his walk and about salvation. So I told him like I'm concerned for his health as he's getting older, smoking a lot of tobacco, drinking every weekend. He does spend time gambling. And I just, I told him like, we just only have so much time. And even if you are to grow old, like you want to grow old in wisdom and comfort, and you want to spend your time doing things that are going to invigorate you and give you more life. And a lot of the things that you are spending your time doing are things that are taking your life slowly. So there's nothing but death that's going to come from, like a lot of drunkenness, or it's not that he's like getting drunk, but like the need to drink alcohol every day or drink a certain amount, drinking cigars, like smoking weed with like tobacco products and all this, just constantly, and gambling on your phone all day on like your little sports apps. It's like prize picks and the parlay and all this other stuff. So like I just said something to him in a blatant way. And I do think he was receptive to it, but I also feel like it almost like hurt his feelings, kind of like, dang, like for my daughter to need to say this to me, maybe I really need to tighten up.
Good.
But I care, like I just love my dad too much, and I remember being a kid and like praying for my dad all the time, like wanting for him to be saved, and because I always knew that he wasn't really as interested in spirituality and religion, and that we did a lot of going to church and stuff because it's what my mom wanted. So I remember being a kid and really only knowing what a kid knows and like constantly praying for my dad. I feel like as an adult I still have those moments. So I think it was important that we got to have that conversation last week at family dinner.
That's good, man. That's good. No, that's really good. Sometimes you gotta hurt your parents' feelings for them and realize, hey, I want to be, they don't want their kids to be disappointed in them. So, you know, obviously you got to hit them in the heart sometime for it to actually be receptive for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that.
Yeah, but other than that, I've been trying to like really stay on my fitness. One of my homegirls reached out to me and she's like, "Hey, can you train me on running? Not for weights. As funny as that is for you. She's like, I want to learn how to run and like I need some help, maybe some accountability. So I'm like, okay, yeah, once a week, let's meet up and we'll like help you build up your endurance. And I thought about it, I was like, I better run myself because, I mean, how am I going to be training anybody to run endurance and I don't run? So I hit up Elijah, and me and Elijah went on a, I would consider it to be a long run. I mean, we definitely walked, but like.
I mean, we probably walked like half a mile maybe.
Yeah, we did. It was a total of 6 miles we did before I came to service on Saturday.
Kudos.
So that made me feel good. I felt energized. So this week I'm going to hit it again. I'll probably come to the gym with Lo and do weights. I've been going to the gym in the morning at the office before work on Monday, so I'll do that, and then I'll run with my friend, and then maybe I'll circle back and run with Elijah again. And by the time I do all that, that's like fitness for the week. Like,
yeah.
Seriously.
That's healthy. You know. I like running. It's someone asked me like what my hobby was this week, and I was like, running.
do you achieve runner's high?
Yeah, for sure. Like when I'm like, I feel like after if I continuously run. Like on our run, I don't feel like I really got there, but like
because we weren't running fast enough for you to feel that way.
No, it wasn't. It's not about speed. It's about length. Like so.
You were happy running with me to put a smile on
no,
your face.
No, I was happy.
High?
I'm talking about a runner's high. Like a runner's high, like I would have to be like over 5 miles. Then I'll be like, oh snap, alright. And like that's like consistently, but like with no breaks, I'll be like, oh, I'm starting to feel it.
I'm not there. And so like when you run,
but that's just because I'm not even trying to gloat or anything. Really, I'm just.
I know that we can't run together, and you get the full benefit out of it because you are way more fit in that area than I am.
I mean,
you're way more fit in that area than I am. I'm just.
I still got a lot out of our run. It was very good exercise.
Yeah, I don't hold y'all back for real.
I'm
sure I need to because I think some things are catching up to me. So I gotta. No, like I've been feeling a little more burn in my chest here and there. I think just having a sickle cell trait like that. I think I'm just feeling more in my body now. You know what I mean? Granted, I eat pretty decently, but I also think going plant-based has made my body more sensitive to things I shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. So when I veer off or I have too much honey mustard with some fries or something like,
you'll get heartburn.
Yeah, I'm feeling it a little bit the next day. So
yeah. I applaud you for telling your dad, about some of your feelings, because I've done the same thing with my parents recently, and I know for me, it's like I just want to see you guys live as long as possible. You know what I mean? And that's where it stems from, like love and care.
Yeah.
But my parents, really my dad, he eats what he wants, and with pork and stuff like that, and I'm just like, bro, like you have to you just don't you realize that it's not good? It's raising your cholesterol. And
it's just already his habit.
It's already his habit, and I mean he was raised in in a Torah type of environment, so he wasn't eating pork probably his first 13, 14 years of life, So I think
he discovered it and loved it.
Yeah, he's just like, oh my gosh, what is this beautiful animal? But it's not. And I tell him about it, but it's in one ear out the other. I think my mom is starting to work on it though, with both of them. But I'm just
yeah, because when you tell the mom, then the dad ends up doing what the mom wants.
Yeah. Has he ever seen one of those videos that really explain everything that's going on in the body when you eat, or how they're raised in the farm? Sometimes it takes people seeing
he's not trying to watch that.
Yeah.
Nah,
he probably just flicks away from it.
Sometimes you gotta force him.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that.
If you want
next time I see him in person,
any time with me, you have to watch this first.
Yeah.
Or I won't talk to you.
Okay, so now
I'll starve you of having a son.
I'll starve you.
No, I do I've done my parents like that. When I was super zealous in the truth, I'm not talking to you until we get over this hump. And you can't call me, you can't talk to me until you at least look at not agree with me.
Do not do that.
No, what do you mean?
It worked for you. I don't think he should do that.
I think I'm gonna be led. I'm gonna be led by the Holy Spirit.
Of his only son.
But yes.
I'm just going to be I'm gonna show you this video, Dad. You need to watch it. We're gonna sit down right here, and that's gonna be it. But I think there's this thing with my dad because he does have sickle cell. Like he is just dangerous. He wants something other than sickle cell to take him out. So it's a little morbid that way.
So he's not afraid of dying at all. He wakes up every day and he's like...
Nah, I think like he really just does not want the disease of sickle cell to be the reason why he leaves Earth. So it's like, oh, let me just get a heart attack or something, you know? Something different. So.
But he doesn't smoke cigarettes and he doesn't...
Nah, he smokes.
He smokes... Okay, so he
smokes weed.
Okay, well, because he has sickle cell.
Yeah.
But even, I think weed even is infectious because I think I handle weed differently than a lot of people because I have the trait. Mm-hmm. So if you got anemia, I think that's even stronger on you. Mm-hmm. You got to think sickle cell affects your cardio because you have some of your blood cells are crescent shaped. Well, sickle cell, a lot of your blood cells are crescent shaped. Mm-hmm. So for me, I have some blood cells that are crescent shaped. Same. So they don't hold as much oxygen. Your cells don't hold, so your blood isn't holding as much oxygen as people without the trait or anemia, which is how your cardio can be affected.
I do think he does use it medicinally, but
we're not going to grow tired of having these conversations with our parents, and maybe we will take up, Brandon's tactic of starving them.
I'm so serious. Y'all, look, you don't understand. Like sometimes if it's because my parents like health, and granted, every now and then they'll come around, hey, you got some advice, you got a workout plan, woo-woo, won't stick to it, Dad, you still eating chicken, which for B blood types, we shouldn't, it's just like, and one of his closest friends who put me onto the blood type diet, man was on American Ninja Warrior. He's like the most fit 55-year-old you've ever seen, and so I know my dad looks at him and, it's like my dad is more spiritually fit, but he's more physically fit. And I think there's kind of like I don't know. I could be wrong, but they're kind of, it's like, I don't know. It could be like, if they're friends but a rivalry at the same time. I don't want to be like you, maybe. I don't know. But, granted, I don't know. I think my dad vicariously lives through me. And my fitness stuff, because my dad was like a super fit boxer and baseball player back in the day. And so he just lives through me now, but it's like, no, you live.
He can play softball.
You live.
So this really affects him when you starve him of his ability to have a son.
My dad always says, I don't know why God gave me one son because I could have had multiple sons. He thinks he has enough love for multiple sons. And granted, he has a lot of spiritual sons in a sense, right? So, now he's like substitute teaching here and there.
Oh, nice.
But it's like, I was a lot. Look, you got
two of you.
Them twins we were supposed to have is in me, so. But granted, all right, my week.
Right?
My week was a lot. Looking for a new car. Thankfully, the Most High gifted me one. Favorite color, all that.
Hallelujah.
Nice, got the sunroof.
So, the sunroof. Gotta have the sunroof.
He's gonna take us for ice
cream. I used to have a sunroof back in the day, man.
We're feeling ice cream today.
I like it, and it's a lot more roomy. Yeah. It's a lot more roomy. I mean, the music.
The music came with the car.
Is yours a 2024?
Yeah.
Mine's is a 2022, but it's still got them features.
Yeah.
It's good, man. I'm enjoying it, and it's my favorite color. I tell you, these dealers are something else.
Yeah.
I went to like 3 different dealers. I went to one first, was going for the new 2024 Honda HR-V. Big buff dude. He looked at me as a short buff dude. He didn't want to budge on nothing. I'm like, oh, I see you. This is like a who's more fit physically and mentally rivalry thing.
Is that what it was?
I can just tell. You can tell how some guys, their ego is like up. Like, you don't want the deal. Deuces.
Yeah.
Went to another Honda where I met my baby, and I was in there Wednesday. Talked them down, got them knocked like $1,500 off of it. But I walked out.
Yeah. Right.
And left. Real cool Hispanic dude.
Was you left and came back?
Real dude, real cool Hispanic dude. Even was talking about the truth. He's a PK, I'm a PK.
Nice.
Oh, my Latino, you Issachar, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We started going down a rabbit hole a little bit.
Oh my goodness! How do you have these? You can have these conversations anywhere.
Bro, what's up, man? It's
That's
ever
a blessing.
connecting.
That's a blessing.
And then and that was like Wednesday, and then Thursday I went there again, got them to knock like 2,000 off, right?
Ooh.
But still left, and went to another one.
You're mean.
I went to another one.
I ain't selling you nothing, Brandon.
Went to another one out in Snellville.
Okay.
All these white folks didn't want to do nothing for me, man.
Oh, no.
They not like 8,000 off, but nah, I can see. I see what it is. You know, we ain't gonna let this nigga come in here and take our money. They was putting all type of extra prices like a cleaning, a whole cleaning and refurbishing fee or something on it. I'm like, Negro, I've never seen this.
Yeah.
Anyways, left them. Came back Friday to them. Got them knocked like 3,000 off. And
Not bad at all. You're like, sign the paper.
But my Latino guy wasn't there no more by the time I went. So I had a Florida homie who was there. Oh, we talked that Florida talk, Jit and Getty and all that.
I've never heard you I guess I haven't heard you get to use your Florida lingo.
Oh man, it's different. Yeah, Southeast from Miami too. And in between, somehow we getting talking into the truth. Or the ish people that started there. Because like a ride, Miami Beach is kind of like shut down. It closed like 6 p.m. He was like, oh, it's the ish people. I'm like, there's the entryway. He started talking to ish people. There's the entryway for the truth. But anyways.
You don't even need an entryway. You'll just kick the door down.
No. I'm a little more wise. You gotta have an entryway, you know?
Okay.
But I got like 3,000 off, put certain amount down, I'm back. But now I'm talking to the finance guy. Big, light-skinned, older black gentleman, grayish beard. Yeah, and so, and you know how they whoop out the packages as far as like their protection and all this
Tire
stuff.
and wheel,
the cap insurance, and I kid you not. And I asked about the tire and wheel, so I was like, so are you saying that even with wear and tear, if it's not just a nail or something obstruction, even with wear and tear, I can come and get the tire replaced? He said, all I'm just saying is, if you find a nail.
Then you get a new tire.
Oh, gotcha. I got a toolbox full of nails, my guy.
Find a nail for $3.99 at Home Depot. Put it in there.
But I did get the smaller package because the electronics and all that stuff, new stuff in it, and it's Atlanta, so I got one of the packages.
That's smart.
And it's Atlanta. It's so crazy.
Seriously, the traffic is stupid.
The drivers are.
Yes, what's that way? There's another story. I'm not gonna go into too much detail on the person, but it's this 21-year-old boy, man. I was on the way to a book club at my old church after Shabbat. Shabbat. We did like a kids play.
Yeah, I did Passover.
Yeah, did y'all's voice and stuff.
You did excellent. On the mic.
I act a little bit,
I walked in, I said, what a blessing.
Moses.
No, literally.
Let my people go.
That was it right there. I said, wow.
Aaron will translate for you. No.
I said, Brandon is multi-talented.
Yeah, the tree we made looked great online. The fiery tree. It was a first kids play, and we already talking about doing another one with some fighting scenes in it.
Oh, nice.
Teach them some things. They'll love it. But on the way to book club, man, there was this 21-year-old black dude just sitting naked in the middle of the street, crisscross applesauce.
That's
like
crazy.
it was like off the 246 exit. I stopped, man, I stopped. I'm like, bro, what's going on? He was like, I'm out here trying to glorify God. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? This other woman pulled around back, behind me, and I don't know. I guess he was on drugs. Maybe something. He got scratches on him. He has no clothes on. Give him something to cover up, and Brush just like, yeah. I mean, he's saying things like Yah and Tribe of Daniel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is an Israelite. Like he smokes some bad weed, or I hope it's nothing worse than that. Like because you got scratches on you, like bloody scratches on you, like
like he probably took something.
He doesn't know why he's out there. He's like But he admitted to the woman who pulled her back, who behind me, she was a guidance counselor. She's a mental health counselor. She got out of him that he said, he was been called psychotic or something like that. But ultimately, we got him some help. That was a crazy situation. But at their Resurrection Sunday book club potluck, I told him I'm there for the spirit of Passover. But my boy Jeremiah, who coordinates the whole thing, he was the one who told me to try to chill when we get into Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
Man, one person asked him questions about what it was Deuteronomy chapter 5, like the Ten Commandments and Shabbat.
Yeah.
And then I read something about the Inquisition and how we got to Sunday and feast days to holidays.
Yeah.
And boy, it was somber in there when I read that Inquisition stuff.
Like people
it was like, wow, then questions. And then Jeremiah started going crazy with the information. The Limba tribe, the DNA, the da-da.
After he told you to chill.
But we tag teaming at this point. Man, my go, your go. Like, just hitting them, just blowing them up with the information.
Was this
it was information overload after a while.
That's going to be their last Easter gathering.
Huh?
That's going to be the last Easter gathering.
Were these all Negroes or were they?
No, they're young black folk. Early 20s to early 30s.
They're ready.
And we had good food, and we was talking. And next thing you know, hey, Reclaim the Throne documentary, sending out, and information, and bless you.
Thank you.
One dude said he had a dream and he was screaming out Naphtali. Like, I'm like, Most High tells you try Naphtali through here. He doesn't know. So I sent him the 12, the Testament of 12 Patriarchs. Yeah. Read this. Just skip to Naphtali's. Maybe you're gonna feel something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a great week. It's been a great week.
That's good.
But yeah, man, that was a lot.
I mean, today is Resurrection Sunday or Easter. So I had a similar thing. Like my roomie's like, so like, what you doing tomorrow for Easter? And I was like, well, I don't celebrate Easter.
Yeah.
She's like, you don't celebrate the resurrection? I was like, well, we do Passover. And I forgot to add in there that, Jesus is the Passover lamb. Therefore, this stuff is transferable.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of conversations that go on during these times.
Yeah. There was, when we were reading, I forgot what verse it was. It was in Exodus. And it talked about the first Passover in Egypt before the Passover angel came. How they ate that meal and they had to slay the lamb and they had to eat all of it. Nothing should remain of that lamb.
Right.
And when I thought about it, I was like, wow. First off, Christ he says, I'm the bread of life, and he's our sacrificial lamb, the Lamb of God.
He's the Passover lamb.
And it's
we don't need to sacrifice lamb no more.
Yeah. It just reminded me that we literally have to eat God's word. I don't know if that, it just drew a connection. I was like, wow. Yeah. We have to eat all of God's word, like how they did in Exodus. Like, we have to literally try to be as full as possible of the Most High's word. For man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. So it's just like, I don't know. I definitely think I'm happy that people are going to church for Resurrection Sunday. I don't agree with the bunnies and the eggs because that's really pagan, and just so much of the Roman Catholics' influence on Western churchianity and stuff. But at least people are hearing about Jesus.
But it's still, I think it's just too much of a blurred line, and I think it's better to just reject the entire holiday than to just transfer it into Resurrection Sunday. But that is kind of the only one where there can be that in between. Like, you got to either do Christmas or you don't do Christmas. But with Easter, a lot of believers knowingly changed it to Resurrection Sunday within Christianity.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the agreed upon way to go.
I agree with both of you. I agree completely with Deja's thought, but I also do believe y'all can plant a seed with people who haven't been to church in a while.
Yeah.
You know, granted, some people only go to church on Resurrection Sunday, and granted, maybe they went through things through that year that make them more, you know, apt to have the seed planted. Because it ain't knowledge that you saved by, right? It's the salvation and repentance. So a person could still at least have that seed planted, and the Messiah reveal knowledge to them after that seed is planted, you know, and come out of the milk eventually.
Yeah, most definitely. So, I mean, that kind of leads into our precept with, like, you know, when you're getting into just like understanding all the different deceptions that have gone on, and how, you know, you really just have to separate what's right from wrong. And you know, I think there's a part of that which comes from wisdom. So for our precept today, we'll be reading from the Book of Wisdom, which is written by Solomon, also referred to as Proverbs, but I've been reading the Apocrypha, and it's called the Book of Wisdom.
Oh, I didn't know that. When you said that, I thought we were reading from a non-canonical.
It is non-canonical.
Proverbs?
Well, the Book of Wisdom is non-canon, but Proverbs is...
Oh, Proverbs is a part of a bigger book.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just like... as I'm reading it, like the teachings are very similar in it. As it's talking about the ways of the wise, what evil people do, but there was one verse in it that stood out to me. I can get into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Book of Wisdom, chapter 1, verse 4. One verse here. Because wisdom will not enter a soul that devises evil.
Wait, I'm sorry. This is Proverbs?
No, this is a Book of Wisdom. And I don't know exactly like what the verse and chapter is, but I know that like basically how my apocryphal book is set up is like it just says chapter 1, and then it does have verses in it.
So it's what is the book you're using, or version you're using?
It's the complete apocrypha.
Okay.
It's like a yellow tan.
So
cover.
so the Book of Wisdom has Proverbs in it, or it's another apocryphal text.
From my understanding, it's another apocryphal text, but like
I'll be looking this up.
it's
Must read.
but it's written by Solomon.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm like they're very synonymous. Like,
Or is it
them
called the
Same
Wisdom
author.
of Solomon?
It's called the Book of Wisdom. From my understanding, that's what it says in the
Do
beginning.
do you have the Wisdom of Solomon in yours?
No. So
It might be.
does
Does it have 19 chapters?
I want to say it's like 20 plus, but I don't have the book with me physically, so
Okay.
I'll have to check and let you know.
Okay.
But yeah. So it says, because wisdom will not enter into a soul that devises evil, nor dwell in a body that is enslaved by sin. And really, the first chapter kind of outlines what all the crazy schemes are, and really just the perspective more so of what the wicked do, and how they're just like in love with doing wicked things. And you know, this stood out to me, but you know, what do you guys think of that? You know, because I
Read it one more time for me.
yeah, because wisdom will not enter into a soul that devises evil, nor dwell in a body that is enslaved by sin.
Mm-hmm.
You have to clean out your temple, your dwelling place, before you can gain the fruits of the Spirit.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people end up with the whole issue of being lukewarm because they're not willing to actually let go and clean the temple out and ask for the forgiveness and having real repentance to where you're removing certain things. They just want to like pile wisdom on top of like all of your junk and your stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the word here is saying like you need to have a clean temple, swept clean. Then once you get into prayer and you're praying for those fruits, including wisdom, peace, love, and joy, and these things, there's space for it to manifest and actually like stay within and grow within you.
Mm-hmm.
When you see someone who's just repeatedly portraying what you believe to be foolish traits and behaviors, they just can't, they seem to like not be able to help themselves not to revert back to more foolish ways, is because they didn't have a good foundation, because they're trying to build on top of foolishness. You can't put foolishness under wisdom. Like, you have to have a clean slate.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's Wisdom of Solomon as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you found it cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. It's sometimes called the Book of Wisdom of Solomon. But yeah, man, what I get from that is it makes sense, man, because it's like, they say, oh, earthly wisdom, and you get wisdom from like, living life.
Mm-hmm.
But, granted, that could just be you just being smart. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, fool me once, and you fool me twice. It's like you just, there could be another word for that, even though we attribute that to wisdom. But wisdom is definitely spiritual. You cannot go through experiences and have wisdom on something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's the part about the spirit. It's like, you could claim to be saved, but if your South Pole head is still leading your decisions, you're gonna make dumb decisions.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to women and lust and all that stuff, right? Like, you have to, for sure, pray for wisdom. And I mean, when you're doing evil, like, it just makes sense. Like, you can't do evil and think you're gonna get good back from it.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that stuff catches up to them.
Mm-hmm.
So where's the wisdom? Just because you're getting away from it, for a little while, like,
Yeah.
that would just, that's just like discounting the fact there's a creator that's gonna reprimand you.
Yeah.
But no, I feel that.
Yeah. As I was listening to you guys talk, you brought up a point, Deja, of like, I think there's a real difference between knowledge and wisdom. And with wisdom, it's applied knowledge to the sense of, you're going to get the most good out of it. Now, you can have knowledge on maybe how to, like, potentially, a good example for this would be Sam Bankman-Fried with the FTX. So he created this exchange, this crypto exchange for people to be able to buy and sell crypto on it. He had a lot of knowledge on how to create this great platform, how to promote it. I mean, he had all these celebrities on there. He had, he was giving all this money to, political parties, and he knew of the way of how to grow a business. But there was no wisdom there, because now he's serving 25 years in federal prison because of the fraudulent activities that were behind it. So it's like, you can have knowledge on how to make money, but first off, if there's an inkling of evil within your heart or your mind, then you can have all this. You can have knowledge, but it doesn't mean that you're wise, because it's going like the long-term effects of your knowledge not being applied properly into the growing of wisdom is like, well, you're actually putting yourself at a disadvantage. You're actually doing illegal things, even though you think that you're doing it smart. So, I don't know, just some of my thoughts, but
I feel like also our flesh, or what we view as evilness or evil thoughts, do create like our driving forces. They can. So when you see someone that's like truly addicted to different things, we've talked about gambling before. That person is motivated to go and do, like, going to put themselves in the place where they can have the opportunity to gamble, make certain decisions. They might be even willing to lie, cheat, steal, and get ahead in order to appease their flesh. So like, you don't even have wise thoughts like when you're driven by your flesh, because everything that you want is evil.
Yeah, that's real.
Like, there's no space for wisdom in that.
See, and some people would try to say trading is almost like gambling, but what do you think about that? I think there's a lot more education behind that.
I definitely think there's a lot of education behind it. I mean, I think there's education behind, there's a level of education behind all sorts of gambling, but it, I mean, the way I look at investing and trading, I just look at it as an intelligent gambling, and for me, it's okay to do it because I put a little more thought into it, so I don't get as convicted with that in comparison to, like, when I used to go to the casino and just play the slots. But there was some intelligence there too, because I'm like, okay, if I know that the slot machine has not hit already, there's a higher chance of it. Now, it's still a computer, but if I up the ante,
But
then, you know.
I learned that about you just yesterday. I never thought that you liked to gamble. Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, but yeah,
That's not
You
something
have
you've
a
ever
good amount of
expressed
little risky pleasures.
You never mentioned that one. He's like, oh, I have these other things totally like me and my flesh.
I like getting to know Elijah, man. Pause. No Diddy.
We learned something new about each other.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, trading, I've honestly been thinking about getting back into it because I'm like, why is the market still up? There's no reason why the market should still be up with the way our economy set up. So, I think I'm about to start buying some just putting some puts out on the market, but also like just taking advantage of some of the stocks that I think are going to go up because, frick it, the wealth of the wicked is later for the just.
I feel like it can't really, it's not directly, I don't feel like it's considered gambling because when you gamble, you're trying to get something for nothing.
Yeah,
so like you're trying to put in $5 and get $500 for nothing.
Yeah.
But when you invest in a company, you believe in the mission and ideally blah blah blah. So I think that's the part that separates it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
And
you
it's
don't
like not as much.
believe in the mission.
Not as much.
You just know you can make money out.
You just know it's going up.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So I got the Hebrew word if y'all got. All right. So the Hebrew word Strong's Concordance is evil. Strong's Concordance 7455 is roah. All right, roah. It's a masculine noun. Definition is badness, evil, rottenness, sadness, ugliness, wickedness. And in the Strong's Exhaustive Coordinates, it's be so bad, badness, be so evil, naughtiness, sadness, sorrow, wickedness. And that comes from ra'ah, which is badness as marring, physically or morally.
1 second. Hi. No, it's okay. Hey guys.
Bruh.
How was church?
Amazing.
Was
this
it?
whole stadium was packed out.
What was the
I think
message
you have to
about?
make a cameo.
Yeah, come talk to us. Just 2 seconds.
Oh my God.
You're already
You
dressed.
know.
You look good.
My heart skipped a beat and I was about to lose my mind.
You left home was just like
Bruh, I was
FBI
it's
found
so
us.
good I don't have my gun on me.
What happened?
you start over
Yes.
by coming to the home that you live in.
You glowing though, man. It's orange and the makeup.
Easter.
Yeah.
You bright.
I know, the perfect outfit. I got to wear it finally.
What was the message about? You can give us a quick.
Oh,
Quick
God,
brief.
please. I did not take any notes.
For
No, you
this
didn't take no
podcast
notes.
content.
I didn't take notes today. What was the message today?
Jesus is the way, the truth, and the
I
life.
love something in your hair like a sticker repeater.
Oh, he's getting all of our hairs right, by the way.
Really?
He's alright.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Thank you.
Oh, now it's in
Was it just for cuteness? Like what was going on?
This is so on the spot.
Guess you did not go to church.
Oh.
You're just joking with us.
She was just looking at the boy with the waves a couple of rows down. Oh man.
No,
Get my
guys.
selfie right. Cute.
I didn't take notes today. I was just in it.
So was it the praise and worship was really good? Like what was the or?
No, there was a whole show.
It was a
They
show.
had dancers today.
Oh,
We never
wow.
had dancers. We had praise dancers, a huge choir. Oh, praise dancers.
Yes.
We had a choir, a full choir today. We had a choir last Sunday, so
Oh,
that
wow.
was really nice. They sang a couple good songs that I like, and then they finally went back a little old school. Cause I like when they do like old school songs.
Yeah,
Cause the
same.
new songs, I'll just be like,
Yeah.
I don't really know the words,
The
but
swing.
it sounds good.
Yeah.
But no, I like when they throw it back to like the roots, and I'm like, okay, now I'm
Yeah.
in it.
That's where you feel the soul.
Yeah, true. I could tell he was nervous.
What about hymns back? Do you know hymns?
Child, no.
Like Negro spirituals.
In the water.
I'm crying.
That doesn't go with the
Everyone
outfit.
knows that one,
Yeah.
but the real church, my nana, my mom,
Right.
and my great grandmother. She's not here.
All right. So overall, it's good experience on Easter.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's good.
It's called. Okay, I'm trying to remember.
Taze, I forgot to
Yeah.
tell you yesterday when you asked me about Easter today, and I was like, I don't celebrate Easter, but I do Passover.
Yeah.
The part about resurrection, because remember you were saying you don't observe resurrection,
Yeah.
Sunday, like the resurrection. The part is that Jesus is the Passover lamb in the Passover story. So So that's the part that is an observation.
Okay. So why don't you guys celebrate today?
Well, I put a nice little post on Instagram. I still celebrate like the Resurrection Sunday because I think like it hit me on Friday. I was like, because it was like someone was like, "How was your Good Friday?" I was like, "Oh dang, I didn't even like do anything really as in a remembrance." But I guess really what I celebrate now is just Passover, because it reminds me of how the Most High pulled out Israel from Egypt, and then the fullness of that story is Christ. Him celebrating Passover with the disciples before he passes away and he dies for our sins. And I was just talking earlier about how like the Passover lamb, while they were in Egypt, they were told to eat it in its fullness and to hurry up and eat it. And then they put the blood over their doorposts so that the death angel went over them. And then Christ, he talks about how he's the bread of life and how we like to just eat up God's word. So, but yeah, I acknowledge Resurrection Sunday, but I do understand that it's there's some pagan roots in Easter, which come from just centuries of the Roman Catholic Church,
In Babylon.
in Babylon, yeah.
All right, so before I say this, let me just go on record. I literally just explained how even though I don't recognize Resurrection Sunday, I do think the Most High can still plant a seed to people who only go to church on Easter Sunday once out of the year, and over time he can reveal to them deeper wisdom and knowledge that might bring them out of it. So I'm not completely against it, like the Most High can't do anything on the day. So for me, it's like this, right? It's simply not in the Word, is where I stem from, and we were never commanded to. The Messiah never commanded to celebrate the resurrection. If I'm looking at the Hebrews, it's not a never celebrate the resurrection, because in the feast days the resurrection is still celebrated, but the Hebrews, the Messianic Hebrews, never looked at the cross or the dying on the cross as a symbol of their faith. You know what I mean? It's almost like celebrating him dying in a sense, where the Roman Catholic Church actually forced the worship of the cross on them and killed them for it. I look at when Moses took them out of Egypt right after Passover, and they went on the mount, and Moses went on the mount, to get the commandments and bring them back to Israel. Well, Israel, Israel literally created a whole golden calf and were worshiping him. Right now, Egypt. Now they've seen the miracles of the Most High, but they do have some of these. Moses still trying to get the Egypt out of Israel, even though they're out of Egypt. Most High killed 3,000 of them for worshiping in that way, right? And Moses had to plead on their behalf, don't kill everybody off. So it's really a thing where you see the Most High wants his people so set apart from the pagan festivities that he does. What I get from that is that he doesn't even want us to do certain things on the day that would be in alignment. Mind you, Easter is, comes from Ishtar, or Semiramis, the moon goddess of ancient Babylon. She was the mother and wife at the same time of King Nimrod. They would, the Rab was a fertility goddess. They would kill babies and then take these eggs and paint them with the blood of the babies to hatch on December 25th, which is King Nimrod's birthday, but we call it Christmas today. So there's connections there, and so the rebranding it from Easter, granted, a lot of churches do Resurrection Sunday, but they still have the whole rabbits and eggs thing, egg hunts. I remember my church doing the egg hunts on Resurrection Sunday.
But it was for the kids, because the kids don't necessarily, they kind of understand, but they don't. So it's like giving them something to celebrate while we have our own, actually celebrating what it actually is, the resurrection.
Right. It's the let kids be kids thing.
Right.
But the thing is, you got to, where it says train up a child in a way that they should go. So if you're trying to if you're teaching quote unquote lies to a kid just to be kid. It's kind of like now you're gonna face the heartbreak moment. You gotta tell them Santa isn't real. You know what I mean? Like, and now their whole trust. Some kids lose complete trust of their parents after they have, hey, Tooth Fairy's fake.
I
Hey,
don't feel like
Santa's
kids
real.
need to- Kids
You
don't
know?
need Santa.
Yeah, like it's.
Yes, they do. What the heck? Christmas is my favorite holiday. Like, I love Christmas. I don't think parents should necessarily tell their kids that these things are fake. They find out at school, and then it's like, oh.
They're still at school, I feel like.
Somebody told
Or
me
some
that
other
Santa
kid,
was
kid at
real.
or some peer who was taught right growing up it shatters that kid's dream,
does,
not the
but-
teacher.
I mean,
Look, I
lose trust.
look. I
Like,
want you to
oh
know,
my God,
I
really
enjoyed these holidays when I grew up. It's not like I've never enjoyed them growing up. But when I started to learn about the roots and the origins of them and who we are as a people in our culture that comes out of the Bible, it's like, oh wow, instead of assimilating it into our culture that comes from the traditions of the word, we've assimilated into European culture. When you're looking at the New Testament, you're seeing Paul write to a lot of these churches trying to encourage Israelites. Don't let who was the one who wrote to the Israelites? Don't let anybody judge you for holy days and feast days and new moons.
That was Paul.
That was Paul.
Colossians.
A lot of Christians will use that to justify celebrating holidays, but they don't realize he was actually writing to Hebrews to encourage them to not be shamed by the surrounding Europeans, shaming them for keeping the feast days and the holy days.
Mm-hmm.
Not
saying,
not telling them, hey, it's cool if they celebrate, Samhain, which was the Day of the Dead, which we have as Halloween now, or woo to woo. He was actually telling them to keep celebrating the feast and holidays. Don't let these other people judge you. So the thing is like, it's kind of like, when you see how much, we read the Bible in its entirety and see the whole story of the Bible from a bird's eye point of view, you see how much the Most High wanted us to be set apart from the ways of the world. And, even though you can have not ill intent, Revelation says, those who believe in my Son and keep his commandments. So it's not the mere belief in the Messiah, but your keeping his commandments or doing what he says is your evidence of that belief. So, like I said, I don't judge people for doing it. I used to, but and I can relate to the nostalgia feel.
I still went to Resurrection Sunday services even after I started practicing Hebrew isms.
Yeah.
Because it was like, well, I normally would go on Sunday when I used to go to Sunday church.
Yeah.
So I've been there many times.
Yeah. But I get it, man. Yeah, man, I get it.
Remember now.
No, okay. I'm gonna just need a few minutes.
Literally,
Drop a few
right?
dimes on us.
Okay, so basically he talked about when we lose something of value. So basically his example was, let's say in a big parking lot you lose your car. Okay. Now you lose
Get in
your
a car accident and total your car.
Yeah.
No,
that was me a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay.
No, I was relating to her
It's
message.
not the same at all.
Okay.
Okay, basically you lose your car.
See, my
Then
car
let's
was
say you
valuable.
lose your keys. Now you lost the keys that worked the car. Then you lost your car where that was supposed to take you somewhere that you were supposed to go on time, and now you're late. It's just like this type of thing. So basically, when you lose something of value, so basically if you lose yourself, a lot of people are jumping up and down, I was. But when you lose yourself because of circumstances, life, getting in the way, stepping back from your faith and not like actually practicing it or going to church, etc., etc. My words, thinking.
You must find it. You must
Yeah,
find it.
basically, not you must find it. God will help you, like lead you back to it, or maybe not that exact moment, but lead you farther away from that moment to a better moment in your life that you were actually supposed to be in, but you were kind of stuck in your past.
Finding your value in the Most High, basically. Or finding yourself, what you lost. No. Okay.
Not necessarily what you lost, but being better than where you were. Like that's what the message was. Like, let's say if you lost your vision, you lost your dream, you lost your faith. So he kind of talked about that, and how God would bring you back, or He would bring you even farther than where you were, and like you didn't see for yourself. He saw a better vision for you.
Do you remember what passage or story he used?
I didn't take notes today.
Okay, gotcha.
That's fair. This is super unfair. We totally could you were running a business. You didn't even get lunch, nothing, just on the spot.
Nothing to eat.
Yeah. So this is the most unfair caveat.
Yeah. Invite me again.
We will.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you before you dash.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Casey Noel. I live in Deja.
Yes.
We're friends.
We're friends. We're roomies.
Literally. I go to Change Church in Duluth with Pastor Darius Daniels. Yeah.
And what do you do for a living? What are your dreams, your passions?
I'm an actress. That's my passion. That's my dream. That's the only thing that I've ever wanted to do is to entertain. So yeah.
What genre do you like the most?
Like drama or
Like what genre?
Oh,
in
like
acting.
more.
In acting. You like stage? You like film?
Oh, okay. Well, I like both.
Okay.
I started off doing stage my entire life, and then I transitioned into film and TV in 2018, and so I've been doing that whole thing, auditioning, and then now I'm being pulled back to stage. Something's pulling me back this year, and I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. Especially because of the strike. We had a whole strike in our entertainment with the actors and the writers strike. So it's slow right now. So we don't really have auditions. A lot of shows are pushed back in production. A lot of shows aren't coming out till 2025. So it's like we're in limbo kind of right now. And someone just told me recently that the camera people are about to go on strike. Y'all not gonna have no shows, literally. So
Casey's bringing something that I wrote to the screen, so she's screenwriting something for me. I think that's gonna be super exciting.
It's gonna be. I need to get back on that. So y'all know Deja's blog post.
No, they don't know that I write.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're learning new things.
Now we do.
Yeah, Deja has a whole blog and it's
a whole blog, y'all.
I can't wait to find the subliminal paragraphs.
No, actually, you might have been what inspired this last screenwrite. No.
Oh God.
I'm
Angry
crying.
place.
Really?
Did I tell y'all I auditioned for Coming to America too?
Really?
That's a story for another day.
Oh, wow.
That's what?
Yeah.
Well, I was sent to the wrong audition by a talent guy, and it's a whole story. It's hilarious, actually.
But you did the audition. You completed it.
Yeah,
Wait, like you walked in and it was like, hey, this is Coming to America's audition?
This is that after the podcast. This go way off subject.
Yeah.
Just remind me to bring it back up.
Okay,
It's a
but
story.
yeah, Deja has a blog and it's amazing. She's an amazing writer. Like, it's crazy. And I like she includes her prayer at the end and like just like what she's asking and grateful
She
for.
could write captions and stuff.
Yeah, literally.
Or posts.
Yeah, I could.
It's really good. So one of her I'm crying. Now she about to be a social media manager.
I'm sure not.
It's about time.
Oh, social media managing. Oh, wow.
This one is about independent women. I told you
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Oh,
the
man.
PCC Women's Event, they had an open mic, spoken word. So I performed a set that I wrote. But before I performed it, I disturbed Casey's piece. I was like, Casey, listen to this. I'm gonna get on stage and perform. This is the first time I've ever done an open mic. And I did it for her, and she was giving me instruction and helping me with my tones and everything. And then she was like, "That's amazing. Let's turn that into a screenwrite."
Yeah, it was so good. When she was practicing, I could literally visually see it. Like when I can hear some words, I can visually see it how it's playing out in my head, like a picture, like a movie in my head. And her words were so good. I'm like, I want that. Can I use it? So I'm gonna do a monologue with it, kind of like a scene, I guess, and incorporate other people with it. And yeah, me and my little sister are gonna shoot it.
Do you have your cast?
Be on the lookout.
No, not yet. Would you like to be a part of it?
I'm actually a pretty good actor.
He was the voice of the Most High in the Passover play yesterday.
Oh really? Oh wow! How was that? They just said it was cute.
Yeah, they used to act a lot growing up.
I think you told me this.
I don't like to talk too much about myself.
Why?
Really?
just because I'm confident doesn't mean I just blurt out facts about me. Like,
No.
confidence and blurting out facts about yourself are two different things.
All right.
But yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna get back on script.
Yeah.
Casey,
for
thank you for
Cam.
joining
We'll
us.
chat after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
For sure.
Bye.
Thanks for brightening up our screen.
Right?
For sure.
Catch me on another episode.
Now let's get
For
back
sure.
to our angry Huber ways.
Yeah.
Easter!
No.
It's Easter!
No.
Come on, Elijah, be unhinged. You know how you are.
Anyways,
An abomination.
no.
Current events.
Let's get into current events.
Lecrea.
Yeah, we did hit the Hebrew word evil. Yeah.
Current events.
Current events.
Forget about the roots today.
So there, this past week, Lecrea put out a podcast. First of all, I love his podcast because he just talks by himself. I wish I could do that. I could just sit here and just like no one would interrupt me, no one would argue with me.
Yeah.
I could talk about
First tag
anything I
ever.
want, Candace Owens, whatever. But
I
yeah, so
repented for them, by the way.
no one would talk over me while I was talking if I had my own, like Lecrea. So Lecrea has a pod, and he'll get on there and talks about various topics. Sometimes he has guests. This time, he was talking about the misconception around him becoming lukewarm, and he just went back to his whole journey, him going to the Grammys, him getting Album of the Year, and at what point he started to lose himself. And it was a really good pod. Like, I was pretty locked in, and I did have curiosity as to like what it felt like to be behind the scenes as the first Christian rapper to do this and that. And you have these expectations to be like kind of like holier than thou, but still be cool. I liked hearing his perspective and hindsight behind being in the industry and the things that he's seen.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it as well, man. Shout out Lecrea if you ever, hit me up about training again,
Did he hit you up about training?
Yeah, I left a comment on one of his posts about his bicep curl form, and he responded like,
Criticism.
why don't you show me them whoop something? And then he slid my inbox, inquiring about coaching.
That's
and
cool.
stuff.
That's really dope.
But I think he wound up going back to his old trainer. But that been cool. This 5'5" guy training this 6'5" rapper.
Is he tall?
He's like 6. He's like a
Yeah,
basketball player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, man. Shout out Lecrea. I grew up on Lecrea, man. He was one of the whole cross movement era ambassador to the truth. Fanatic come back to the Most High. Flame, Tripley, just all of them, man. In Lecrea, Lecrea was dope because he was like he didn't sound. Granted, I didn't really know what corny was like that, but he just had a different kind of sound about him. And I gravitated towards like his kind of rebelliousness almost in the Most High, like because I was a rebel. Over time and coming into this truth, like just hearing some of his views and stuff, like he didn't think like tattooing was like there's nothing wrong with that and stuff. There were certain things I disagree with him, and I never settled on he's lukewarm, but I would question like this and that. Is he controlled op? This and that, woo woo. But all in all, I still listen to his music. I have every one of his albums. When it came to his music, it was this is still spirit filled, and you can see the stage of depression and visiting Africa and self-realization and all the stuff he went through. And so this podcast was just great because he gave a lot of background information. And, the thing about Lecrea is he has really definitely understood, just like I think Bishop Brown has, like about how did the Messiah actually win people. Mm-hmm. He didn't just throw Jesus at them. He established relationships. He offered food. He did a healing. There was something there followed up with, the gospel, right? The Basora. And so I really appreciate it, man. I liked it a lot. I think anybody who questions Lecrea should watch it. I still think he wakes up to come and realize he's also an Israelite too.
He's not there yet.
No, I don't believe he's there. He did visit his Africa, and he's read things about Bantu tribes and stuff. I don't know if he knows that yet. He's had that discussion.
I feel like at this point, like, almost everybody know this isn't new information as it once was, so he probably has heard this before.
He might have heard it, but a lot of people hear stuff and don't dig into it, you know. So, but I liked it, man. I definitely think he's somebody who really does love the Most High. He's addressed Illuminati rumors and all that stuff too in other podcasts. Like, I think he's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
It felt to me like he was kind of apologizing, like, for the way that he once was, or like, how could I have known better? I was young and I was just lost at this time. He just felt like he really needed to justify a lot of the things that he's done. And I probably am with the group of people who thought that just simply because he was able to get a Grammy and be accepted into Hollywood meant that he must have made some type of alliance or sacrifice, like, off the string without ever listening to his side. I just already felt that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of fall into that camp too.
Camp?
Yeah.
Trigger words. Trigger.
Censorship, here it comes. Nah, but
Purple Power Ranger.
I'm just not as like I've never really listened to Lecrea's music or just been involved with his content or anything. So like the majority of my perspective about him was from secondary sources. So like I tried not to like think too much, I guess, about like, you know, his own personal walk, but because I really didn't have like that relationship with his music and stuff like that. I watched like, you know, the first 10-15 minutes of the Am I Lukewarm video, and it was like really intriguing because like the first part, I mean, he's talking about how he's in seminary school and how he's just basically regurgitating all this information that he's getting, and he was in a sense like, I don't want to say like saying he was sorry for it, but he was just like, I didn't really understand what I was like putting out there. It was more so like just regurgitating what the professor had told me.
He wasn't being him.
You know, he wasn't being him. That's what
using words that just.
He did say
and bro,
regurgitate.
I can relate to that so heavily, like coming into the truth, because it's like, oh snap, I'm getting all this information about us being the Israelites, like tribe of Judah, like tribe of this, like, and we're, you know, the law is so important. And I can relate to those things because it's like you're so, you know, you're so zealous that it just overflows. You wanting to share these things, so that's what kind of resonated with me. I was like, man, you know, like, I mean, over this past couple months actually, like I've just been having to kind of pull myself back from being super hitting people over the head with not necessarily the truth, but just like God's word, like, and not like just being like a huge Bible thumper, but letting people more so come to me in a sense and like asking me what God's word says about something instead of just putting it out there. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, like you gon' and you see my story, you gonna get what I want to put out because you are subjecting yourself to Elijah's Instagram, and I'm gonna put out what I want to put out, but not necessarily like, okay, like I see someone in the club getting twerked on, I'm gonna, you know, reply to the story like, brother, you are leading yourself to fornication. Stop this. Galatians 5 says, you know, all this. So, like, just kind of think of it, like, from that sense. But I do plan to finish watching your video, Lecrea, you know, if you're all watching this. I don't know, but, you know.
Yeah, I don't think you got to it, but there was a good part where this guy had caught him going into this, like, concert, with this Wu-Tang concert, right?
Okay.
And he was outside calling out, Lecrea's going in here, and this Jesus wouldn't want this from me, blah, 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 calling him out. Yeah. And Lecrea part of the context of, like, he was there, he had family in town that he hadn't seen, blah, 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 blah. Like, Lecrea is still a genuine, like, hip-hop fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's a real hip-hop fan. I can relate to that, too. Even though I don't listen to a lot of people, I'm still tuning into this Kendrick, you know, this Kendrick dissing, you know what I'm saying? You know, but Lecrea came out and he started talking, you know, to the men like, yo, you going right, you know, you're not doing right, you know, P, you just out here wilding, you scaring people, blah, 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 blah. And the dude was talking like real adamant, one man. And Lecrea, while the dude is screaming, he said, Lecrea was like, you know what, what's your name? Blah, blah, I'm Lecrea. This, that, what you will. And then he said, you see what I just did there? Hold on. You see what I just did? I got his name. I learned a little bit about him. What he believed, what I believe. That's how you know?
Yeah.
And it's, bruh, yeah, you
That's
don't
powerful.
just, you know? By the way, when the Most High was out on the street like that, he was mostly talking against the Pharisees, like the people who actually were in power and leadership. He wasn't screaming at regular and common folk like that, you know. So yeah, man. But that was a great interview.
Yeah.
So the next current event I think we should discuss is the Baltimore Bridge.
Yeah.
So we all saw the horrific video of the Baltimore Bridge collapsing. I don't know the name of this bridge, but from what I heard and understood about this,
Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Okay. Was that this
Star
bridge?
Spangled Banner.
It was created for the purpose of transporting hazardous materials, fuels, and so forth. And it's a very important and major roadway and a very huge long bridge. It collapsed overnight. There were cars on it, so people did die. And it was caused by a cargo ship that lost power and ability to navigate, and like Mayday, everyone move, and they couldn't do anything but crash into the bridge. What do y'all think about this event?
Prayers out to the families that lost loved ones, for sure. First off, it's very unfortunate. And also the people that are going to be affected, like the whole eastern seaboard, in my opinion, is probably going to be affected by this, because that port was, I think, either in the top 3 or the top 5 of largest ports on the East Coast. Oh, in the country, yeah. So, like, it's going to have major effects. I'm going to talk about it on my live on the Money Pot tonight, but, like, it's going to have effects with prices and with also supplies that grocery stores are going to have. So stock up on your canned goods, okay, people? But I do think that there is something weird about this, because first off, like, I watched this video by Redacted, and they kind of went through the path of the ship, and it makes a couple of movements that almost make it look like hitting into that column was intentional. And it's just, Biden addresses it and he says, this was not intentional. Whenever Biden says that to me, I'm like, bruh,
this was intentional.
It's
As soon as
clearly
those were his
intentional.
words.
Yeah, he said, this was not intentional. It's not an act of terror. I'm like, nigga.
Act of terror.
Yeah.
Act of terror.
Act of terror. There we go. So I'm just like, why do you say that after the investigation hasn't already been completed? You didn't even give it time to simmer, really. So that was just weird to me. But the same day there was a bridge on fire in Cleveland, Garfield Heights. There was a major fire. Now, no one died in that one, but it's just weird because bridges are very essential to transportation and supply chains. So, like, thinking about that, it could be a setup for something a lot larger. And you think about all the cargo that comes into those ports. I mean, we're talking about, billions of dollars of goods coming in on these cargo ships, whether it's food or whether it's just like merchandise or whatever. But like, that's going to have an effect on the economy, and the effect is prices are going to rise, and also supplies and like the amount of goods in stores is going to decrease. So
I also am like wondering if this was a genuine total accident, and say I literally believe what the headlines say. How could a ship of this magnitude just completely lose power, just start steering aimlessly and cause an accident like this? Like, if that was a possibility, I think something like that would happen often. Like, do ships like that just lose power?
I'm gonna read some of what is put out. This is by Tracker Deep on Twitter. Container ships do not lose the ability to be steered in event of a power loss. Modern vessels have multiple backup systems for steering, ensuring control even during outages. Port of Baltimore stats: 15,330 direct and 139,000 indirect jobs connected. 847,000 auto light trucks, most of U.S. port. Basically, this is a major port. 25 tons of chocolate imports, 1K tons of aircraft parts imported. You have another here, Stephen Dingle on Twitter. The ship Dolly is registered to Singapore. It was leaving the port of Baltimore this morning before it lost power. Video shows black smoke coming from the ship before it hit and collapsed the entire bridge in seconds. The ship company MAERSK released a statement on Key Bridge. And here's a very interesting comment here underneath Larry's post.
Larry.
Hold up.
ILY Larry.
This girl is ridiculous. Anyways, this is by KK Charbs on Instagram. The ship's captain is a Ukrainian citizen. The name of the ship is Dali. Salvador Dali had a painting called The Broken Bridge in the Dream. The CEO of the company that owns that ship was Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law, who was Clintoned at the Tesla accident a few weeks ago. They tried to say that her blood alcohol was 3 times the legal limit when in reality her car was most likely remotely operated and she was locked in there while it drove into a body of water. The ship was involved in another bridge accident in 2016. Shall I keep going? Hey man, my hearts go out to everybody who died first and foremost before I put my comments. When I first saw this, I just thought, yeah, this is just controlled like chaos, and there's something more sinister going on here. So yeah.
Be on the lookout, people.
Yeah, be on the lookout, man.
This summer's gonna be hot.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the eclipse.
Right. We haven't even gotten to the eclipse.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyways.
Last event I want to talk about, current news, fake news, real news, whatever. Trump got on one of his platforms on some kind of stage in front of a camera with a mic and said that he believes that America's issue is that we need to return to Christianity. Trump is calling for a serious religion again in the U.S.
And let's just put beside that Trump versus Biden turning Ishtar, Resurrection Sunday into Transformer Visibility Day.
Crazy.
Right, so that's the Biden side of things. And Trump is saying we need Jesus, basically. In so many words, Trump says we need Jesus.
React. We definitely need Yahshua.
Should we tell
Yahshua,
Trump that Jesus is black, or that would not? We don't need black Jesus.
Is he supposed to be friends with Putin?
Yeah, I don't know.
So then he knows this. Putin's already shown him the images.
I'm sure, when you're up at those high levels, you probably already know. You just probably can't say it, but I applaud Trump for actually taking the stance. Now, I do understand the political side of it.
Oh, so you're voting for him?
No, I'm not voting for anybody.
See, that is the...
So you just applaud him, but you're not voting for him?
No, I said I applaud him. I applaud him for actually saying this, but I do realize from the political side, I do feel that he's pandering to voters because a lot of his voters are Christian. Conservative Christian,
evangelical.
But I still applaud him for at least saying it because it's really the truth. And I think the one thing that I was hoping that he would say, because I did feel like a sense of genuineness in this, like this turn towards biblical ways, and there was this. I wish he just would have said, America needs to repent. I wish he would have said that. America seriously needs to repent and turn from their wicked ways. I mean, literally, we see his opponent making a pagan holiday even more pagan. You know what I mean?
Definitely not voting for him.
Yeah.
It's just not me.
I'm not voting.
I'm not voting regardless because it just...
Same here.
My vote doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They've already pretty much decided who's
they've already decided. Honestly, who even knows if we're going to even have a president again? You know
I
what I
would
mean?
have voted for Candace Owens. That's how
we know.
Oh my God.
We know.
There you go.
But yeah.
Candace and Larry, they're on my list of people I love.
Okay, so we might as well talk about Robert F. Kennedy. He made an announcement this week. His vice president is an Asian lady who is the ex-wife of the founder of Google.
What?
And yeah, she's a lawyer or something like that.
They're
so
all just connected and in cahoots. Oh
It's
my
crazy.
That would be the next person that would possibly have my vote.
Well,
Kennedy.
No, Kennedy's talking about I read the articles. A lot of Kennedy's gonna be taking votes away from Biden.
So then that only helps Trump.
Yeah, it only helps Trump really, because I don't think RFK will get elected.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't believe any of them. All right, I mean, yeah, I don't believe Trump. the Christian values he comes from are the ones that convinced slaves that they were supposed to be slaves.
Yep.
Like the label,
The
label just don't matter. If when you stamp Christian on something, that label just don't matter really no more. Do you believe in a Messiah and follow His commandments? That's it. Not do you believe in a Messiah? No. Do you believe in a Messiah and you follow His commandments? Those are the people who make it into the kingdom according to Revelations. Mm-hmm. That's it. And so he can say that, right? But has his life, has his walk, his fruits actually show that he follows the Messiah?
He actually hangs his hat on the fact that he's never had a drink of alcohol in his life.
So he's had affairs. He's an adulterer.
Yeah, so I'm saying he has other air. We have other air. We all have.
We all have other areas.
Money issues, like what? I don't know much about his tax situation.
That's the thing that he hangs his hat on to say, I'm a true Christian. Look at me. I've never had a drink in my life.
Criminality, and plus he
but
doesn't.
He doesn't.
I should have been on Pastor O's sermon on Wednesday.
He doesn't really talk respectful about people. Like like you know what I mean. It's like, come on, bro. Like, so I don't believe him. I pray he repents and he becomes serious, but I also do believe in the fact that certain bloodlines have, the Most High is like, there's reprobate. Reprobate is still a thing to me.
Yeah, very.
And Biden, it's just funny to me at this point. Like, it's kind of a slap at all the Christians' face with the whole transformer. They're supposed to light up New York tonight with the trans flag colors and all that stuff, and it's just like it's Civil War here
in the future. This is going to be their weekend. This is going to be their time, just like they have Pride. Mm-hmm. This is going to be their time to get active and like make themselves known, promote themselves and their lifestyle, and it's going to be on Casey's Resurrection Sunday.
I think this is also an inciting of Civil War. You have the super Republican side that's supposed to woo believers, and you have the Democratic side that's based. And Biden's supposed to be Catholic, which is nothing, right? Yeah. But that's really the demonic side, like outwardly. And so it's literally a thing of pitting unbelievers and believers or lukewarm believers against each other, alongside with. You got the border crisis. You have now threats coming that, certain churches and congregations might be attacked by people because of the funding of Israel and the genocide of Palestinians. Mm-hmm. So now there's going to be Islam against each other. You got the Semitism, whatever. Like, so this is all to drum up civil war, in my view, Yeah. I hadn't been to church with a gun in my holster in months. But after hearing some of this stuff,
Well, we are strapped up.
At PCC.
Oh, but at Boom, for sure. But I didn't even think about it from that sense of these ploys being done. But as we know, that both of these sides are funded by the same people. Mm-hmm. And with that being the case, it would make all the more sense to have these extremes start to go all the more to their sides. With Trump talking about returning to Christianity, and from that video I got the sense of because he mentioned the founding fathers, the founding fathers built this country on slavery, not on Christian values, not on the Most High's word.
Stealing, lying, cheating, killing.
Yeah. More so on Roman Catholic Christianity values, but and then we see Biden giving full on to the Baphomet agenda. So it's just I didn't even think about it from that perspective, but it's very valid, and it's just indicative of these times that we're living in. When I think about ancient Rome, I feel like these are the times when ancient Rome really started to you see the divide of East and West, and then the Byzantine Empire just caving.
Yeah.
So we've gotten too big.
Yeah.
And not care about things here. So it is what it is.
For sure.
Let's get into our topic.
Yes.
So we starting with the question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we get into it. Cool.
Yeah. So basically, our topic of the week is balance in work and life and faith. And shout out to Erica for her question that she asked me. She's a friend of mine from school, and she hit me up. She just had some questions.
That means anybody can send us questions and we'll answer them the way we're about to now.
Yes.
Yes.
Please send us
Send us
questions.
questions, send us
Interact.
topics.
Via email or just, slide in Deja's DMs or, the Kingdom OutKast DMs, whatever, Like, hit us up because we love answering these types of questions, and this is our topic of the week. So, her question is, in regards to
We
balance.
can make your question the top of the week or alternative thought as well. My bad.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to basically phrase this question, but
And it's like 2 parts.
there's 2 parts. The second part, which is about understanding the source of dreams, but the first part is balancing work, life, and faith. And she, mentions how she's in human resources, and over the past few years.
Is it too long to read?
Yeah, I don't want to read word for word too, because I'm trying to make it into a question. Well, that is the question. Like, how do we balance work, life, and faith?
We're open to hearing your work.
I think you don't have to read all of it, but
Okay.
I think people will be more apt to send stuff if we
Gotcha.
actually
Read what it's saying.
Okay. Over the past few years, I've been reflecting on how my faith intersects with my professional duties. I feel compelled to advocate for my beliefs in the workplace, while other times I wonder if it's showing me that it's time to leave the role I once loved. I often find myself in situations where I need to create programs or express opinions on topics that contradict God's word, such as discussions about the LGBTQIA excessive issues or organizing events that I don't celebrate, like Halloween. There are also occasions when I need to opt out of activities due to fasting or having discernment, knowing that I shouldn't be in those types of environments. While some of my colleagues understand and respect my faith, I've observed that executives express disappointment and resentment when I opt out of certain activities. She's in human resources, and there's an expectation for her to be physically present at company events, but she will not go against what I believe or God to make others comfortable. Hallelujah.
That's good.
So she's grappling with the question of when to continue using my voice in a challenging environment and when to consider leaving, praying that I sow a seed in the process. That's a really serious question, and it's something that I struggle with myself as well, because as I've really just started to really live according to God's word, there's things that I just know that I can't do, like after work, going out for drinks with my coworkers, because of my past and knowing that I'll get ratchet when I drink excessively, then I don't need to put myself in that sort of environment.
I used to do that with coworkers in Florida too.
Yeah, and that's just one example, but also this past week we had an Easter egg hunt. I'm not even gonna pick up any of these eggs. I'm not even gonna participate. And then in the past with Halloween, it's now I'm not in a role where I had to put on these events, but it's still a conflict with my beliefs, because the Most High's word talks about the things that evil people do, witchcraft and idolatry and, just celebrating not the Most High's ways. So it's definitely tough to be in a corporate setting and just having to put on that face, because corporate settings are so much geared towards the pagan holidays and stuff. But I've gotten to a point to where people know who I am. So basically, for Valentine's Day, they went around the office and they basically asked us each, to write some nice words about each person. Give me one word that describes this person. So I some of my coworkers, I put names, and then they did it for me as well. And one of the words that describe me, and I have it's at my desk, but it's righteous.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that means a lot.
Elisha, that's so sweet.
But for me, people understand where I stand on things nowadays, because I've made it a point that I follow Yahshua. And they're just things that I don't really tolerate. So yesterday I worked, and at the end of it, everybody was in team chat, they were like, Happy Easter, Happy Easter, Happy Easter. And I was like, oh Lord, how am I going to deal with this here? So I didn't even think about it. I was like, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And then I just put a little GIF, and I said, He is risen. That's what I kept it as. And I've just had to at my company there is a chat that I'm in and a group that I'm part of, the Christian Fellowship group, which is really nice. So there's a group of us, and I'll drop some Bible verses in there. But even then I still know that it's they would probably think that I'm a radical follower
Yes.
of Christ. But it's just I live according to what God's word says. But it's definitely tough in the corporate space because we're so saturated with promoting pagan ways. So, it's definitely tough. I can't imagine being in HR and having to because I don't have pronouns in my email. The frick, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is. There's no way.
Yeah. My name's Elijah. you know, but yeah. So I mean, I can't imagine just being in HR because that's the one department that I think is required to be the most inclusive. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
Right.
gotta advocate for
And
everybody.
so when we say inclusive, to me, that is supposed to encompass and protect everyone's beliefs, including mine.
Yeah.
So the way that I would answer her question personally is that you are supposed to have the freedom to express your belief unhindered, and your expression of your belief should not cause any sort of repercussions or work related issues. You should be able to say this is not part of my belief, so I don't participate in those things, but this I will do. Just like they have respect for people's sexual orientations and pronouns, they should have respect for your belief and the things that you will and won't participate in.
Yeah.
I think that there should be more people that are walking in the way of the word that are in the HR space, because that's how you create diversity. So the idea is that when they hire for diversity purposes, they don't want a staff of all white women to hire diversity. They want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. So she's needed in those spaces because she is that voice. I hope that she can find balance in staying in her career if she really loves doing human resources. She shouldn't have to plan Halloween parties if it's against her personal belief, and she shouldn't have to attend them either.
Yeah.
She should be able to have her inclusive personal civil rights to not participate in things that go against her belief, just like they have their civil rights with their pronouns and gender related rights.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel y'all. My job is a little different. It's very personal, one-on-one, with coaching people. And all my clients, they do know, where I stand on my beliefs. Now me, I am pretty I guess, open in hearing their lifestyles and what they got going on. I have a polyamorous client who tells me about her, experiences and her trips and things like that. I've got, I get, the alphabet community clients all the time, and granted, I have good relationships with all my clients. You know what I mean? The only time I've not been hired by someone is they saw something I put on my story post. Now, and that was actually before I made the separate fitness Instagram. Where people just go to my main page. But I do think it was important to have a professional Instagram. So, but we're talking about in-person experiences. So for me, they all know where I stand. I don't push my beliefs on each individual person. Granted, if the opportunity comes where, a subject comes up or something like that, where it can be, I can express or give, righteous advice, I do. But in my profession, I know I'm the psychologist of a person. Almost people come and they want to dump their things on me. You know what I mean? So I do, take a step back from being mad zealous towards every single client I have. But certain clients, we can go there easy. Other clients, it's more about hearing their experiences and what they are, and then I just sit there with my eyebrows raised. Okay.
Judging.
Right,
Fully judging.
Yeah. But my work has allowed me to open up being a witness, for sure. I just think it's really when the Ruach puts a tug, on me, that's when I need to really respond and do it. It's all about let the Ruach you don't want to go by your own thoughts and logic too much when it
Yeah.
gets into what you do in the workplace.
Yeah.
You pray about it. Well, Kagadesh, tell me what to say. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to move in wisdom, so I can be an example and a light and keep my job.
Yeah.
Granted, if the Ruach pulls you to do something radical and you lose that job, the Most High can be testing you just to show you he has something better for you. You know what I mean? But you really have to get in tune with the Holy Spirit, the Ruach, for it to guide you in what you say and how you walk and what you do.
Yeah.
You know, I've had moments where I walk away from a session like, man, I could have been more spirit led in how I responded to that. I could have left a little bit of relating to them by my personal experiences of the old me, and put a little bit of how the new me would have responded. You know what I mean? But again, that's also a part of the Most High perfecting, us in His walk with Him. So
Yeah.
that's my best advice when it comes to this: is don't try to put too much of your own thought in how to lead. You gotta pray, and you might need to really pray when you get home. Pray, sit in meditation, and listen. Not just think He's gonna talk to you on the fly, but literally just sit and just listen and really meditate and see what and listen and see what He has to say to you. For sure on it, and over time you'll start to hear Him more throughout your work day, and when you come across certain situations, if it contradicts the word, So that's how I say go about it.
It's hard to be politically correct.
For sure, and I'm not. I'm never.
And it's very necessary in the corporate space to try to not do anything that's gonna cause you to very obviously not blend in.
Yeah.
Because they won't get rid of you off that. There will be lawsuits if you just get rid of someone literally because of their belief. But you can decide that someone is not a cultural fit for your
loopholes
for your organization and decide. So there's always that need to try and basically fly under the radar and basically go either unnoticed or not make a huge to do about your difference in opinions.
Yeah.
That's very much discouraged in the corporate world.
Yeah, very,
sure.
very is.
For sure.
My perspective is also I would prefer to keep not making a conversation. You stated that your coworkers kind of know what your beliefs are, so therefore they know of it. But I think if possible, it would be great for it to not be a conversation at all, to even have to ever explain.
Yeah, I think of it in that sense, but it's I thank the Most High for allowing me to have that type of relationship. And I'm not talking because my department has 50 plus people, but when I refer to my coworkers, I'm talking about those that are on my team. And I think that them knowing it, and it's really just because Wednesdays I don't work 11 to 8, and they're oh, why don't you work 11 to 8? It's because I go to Bible study. You know what I mean?
So you get off work early every Wednesday?
No, I just take the 8 to 5 shift.
Oh, you choose that?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But we always try to decide that beforehand, of course. So that's really where that stemmed from. And it's definitely it's you're not supposed to talk about politics, and you're not supposed to talk about religion in the job, but I'm pretty tight with some of my coworkers. Not pretty tight, but close enough. And I'm you know what? If I get fired for talking about the Most High, so be it. Because I know He's going to provide for me, whether I'm in work or whether I'm not. So whether it's this job or another.
The
company.
crazy thing is, it's
Thank you.
the really fine line, because you can talk about Christianity. Trump is calling for religion, so you can talk about Christianity, but it's that fine line between people and ethnicities, and there's this really sensitive space that you can't go in, and seemingly you can't go over there. But if you want to say, oh, this weekend I went to church on Sunday because it was Easter or whatever, if you can be a Christian but it's where you go into that fine, sensitive area where it's like, maybe I should keep this to myself.
Yeah, What do you mean you're going to Shabbat?
Right.
Shabbat.
I was even, you don't want to say you're a black Jew. That is the worst probably thing you could be in corporate.
Some circles.
Like, what do you mean you're black and a Jew? You're not a culture fit for this organization.
Yeah, I would never call myself a black Jew. Just Jew, it does not mean Israelite, but anyway, but you know. But
I think someone could resonate with being a black Jew.
No, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I'd have to go into a whole source, but being a Jew does not mean you're Israelite. Being a Jew or Jewish means you've adopted the religion of Judaism.
Right.
But it doesn't mean you're a bloodline Israelite. You can be a Jew and not an Israelite.
Correct.
But so I think even if you go into the Christian thing in certain realms, it can still be sensitive depending on where you're at.
Oh yeah.
But you know, most of my clients know I take Saturday off because of Shabbat. You know, they ask me, I ask them, "Oh, how's your weekend?" They tell me, "How's your weekend?" They ask me, and then oh yeah, you know, Shabbat as usual, and then this and that and this and that. You know, simple. You know, got the podcast today. Oh, what are you going to talk about?
I definitely don't mention the pod.
Oh yeah.
Do you?
I do mention that I do have a podcast. I don't tell them the name.
I'm the only one who likes to market us like that. Goodness
it's
gracious.
Not about the marketing.
I'm not ashamed.
It's not about
social media, at the job.
I work for like a
no
top
shame.
Forbes company. Like,
me too.
Bruh, they would not be able to control the fact. They would be like, "Oh my gosh, Elijah, you're a Hebrew.
Right.
And you know it."
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but like, and it's not like I would be like out here wearing like fringes to work and you know all that kind of stuff, but I just rather keep that part of my life
a lot of
away from
Hebrews
them.
feel
and
like
I don't need them watching my content.
I'll say this, man. I just thank the Most High for
all.
blessing me with work that I can, you know.
Yeah.
Granted, I pray that someday He
wrote
blesses
to
y'all with the opportunity
But
to
people
be able
need jobs.
to.
That's the way the
Look
economy
at
works.
you!
The
Look at
person
you!
wrote to us because she works at an
You
organization.
want me cutting you off. So, anyways,
You
as
do
I was
it
saying,
all the time.
but yeah, no, man, like, no, I get it. I used to work in spaces like that. You know, I used to work retail. I used to work, you know, in a gym setting. Like, I used to work for people. I used to work in the inventory specialist place for Romero Brito and Winwood. Like, you know what I mean? I think the Most High know me, though. I think He knows personally that I would get fired easy in all rebellion, chest out and everything, you know. So I mean, but I do pray that the Most High brings more of us into situations and entrepreneurships and spaces where we can be more overt, man. Because I mean, yeah, granted, you saying all what you saying, but I'm pretty sure you would still love to be your full, authentic self at all times. Like, you know what I mean? Personally, I feel like I get to be my full, authentic self most times. And I'm wise with who I'm talking to, but, man, it's just, I got kicked out of schools. Like, I got detained by police officers. There's no way, as an adult, I would be able to be in a corporate setting. So, I commend y'all for the discipline. But for me, I'm getting fired happily.
Lots of people work in these settings, and the reason that she wrote to us is because she's built a career working in human resources. Like, I think that she should continue to work in those spaces. If all of us just leave those spaces, then we're taking out our ability to have a say and include that in the diversity.
Yeah.
Like, if every single last person that was a Hebrew was like, we're all entrepreneurs. I just don't know how well our people
No, it's so
like,
the community is so small. The community is so small. If everybody knows they're Israelite became entrepreneurs, I'm telling you that I would not put that much of it.
I'm saying on the individual.
First of all, black is a minority, and then being
on the individuals' lives. Like, if me and Elijah both quit our jobs and went straight entrepreneurial, I don't feel as though we would be in the best place financially as individuals.
This is what I'm saying.
Speak for yourself, okay?
I know, right? She's speaking super negative right now.
That's not super negative.
Some people
work for organizations for a reason.
For one, Well, you're being defensive because you think I'm coming against working in corporate settings, organizations. I'm saying I'm glad for me because I know me and my personality. That's what I'm saying. I do understand that in order for society and to make the world go round, you do have to have people in these spaces and such like that. I used to be in one of those spaces. But what I'm saying is, as a people who know our culture and our way, there will be a time where we have to disassimilate from this culture and society. And I know many of us want to. And I do have full belief, even though you may not, I do have full belief if you really wanted to be an entrepreneur and work for yourself, if you really wanted to, you saw yourself in that space, you could learn the ins and outs of your company, make your LLC, duplicate what you're learning, what you're doing in this company, put it into your LLC, and make more money. I did it. Somebody who teachers told me I wouldn't be nothing, and as demonic as I was in school, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Like, so.
I think it depends on what field you work in.
Hey,
like, that's not universal across every field.
I'm gonna just leave what I said at that.
Yeah.
But everybody who has a job and making money and handle it is commendable. Like, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying I do believe more of us like have the opportunity, like, or we could do that. We could do that. We really could. But I'm gonna just stand on and die on that hill by myself.
The thing that Christ said is that it was about persecution.
Yeah.
If they persecuted me, they would definitely persecute you.
Yeah.
I think that just kind of comes along with living here in America, but also like just having to operate in spaces that are not foundationally built on Christian values or on Christ-centered values. So like, you just that's something that I've had to remind myself of. But I'm like, I don't have to go out and seek persecution.
Right.
Like to what you're referring to, Brandon, like how you want to be able to work in a corporate space. I have a sense of that in me as well. But there's a sense that like, okay, Elijah, you may not have to say that. You could just let it go. Or, just learn how to, like, let God handle it, So I have had to learn that, but I do understand that eventually it's going to get to a point to where it's so bad that I'm like, peace out.
And I've already told you, I admire you for some of the characteristics you have that I know that I lack. That sense of self-control in certain things, right? But for me, man, again, I think this is where we just need to chop it up to the body has different members.
Yeah.
And we all have different roles in the body. For me, I have a sword in my hands at all times. And I must slash.
And that's necessary.
That's
necessary.
Yeah,
that's
and so it's just like, yeah, man, it's just something that, call it pride, call it ego, call it a heavenly righteousness.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it just can't.
Yeah.
I just, it's something that just I shake. Like.
So let's get to the second part of her question.
Yeah.
So she asked, how do we understand the source of dreams, whether they come from the Most High, the enemy, or our own minds?
That's such a good question.
Prayer and discernment.
No, that is a great question.
Prayer and discernment.
Yeah.
Literally, you wake up, pray, Most High, and sit in bed. That's how I kind of come about it. Like, I think about it. I might get certain opinions from different people sometimes and tell it, but I think ultimately pray for discernment for real.
I think a part of your discernment in that too is going to be like knowing where you are in that time of life.
That's good, yeah.
So I have had periods of times where I'm fasting and I feel like I'm really getting attacked in my dreams. So during that time of fasting, my dreams there'll be a portrayal of me doing things that I would never do in real life, such as stealing from people or doing sexual acts in a public way or something that like if I'm over here like beating my flesh into submission every day in prayer and I'm like really locked in at that time, and as soon as I go to sleep in my dreams, I'm out doing evil. Like this is only an attack because I know that at that time, I'm like very much focused on what the Most High would have for me. So anything opposite, that's the enemy.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I have dreams that will be like something that is based on my belief. So if I have a dream that someone that I know is in a relationship that the person is physically harming them, and they tell me this in my dream, but in real life, like, they're the happiest people in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know that my dream is true enough for me to be like, he's gonna beat
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
not my place, not my business.
Right.
But at the same time, something in my subconscious mind gets a feeling that something is not right on the surface.
And that's why I think it's important to what Brandon says, like praying and discerning. After you have those dreams, pray on it, you know, and ask God to like reveal it to you, help you understand it a little bit more. That's what I've done. I do really think it's important to write down your dreams, but I think like in dreams, what helps me discern whether it's from God, whether it's from the enemy, or whether it's just me and my flesh. Well, I don't want to say not me and my flesh, but just me myself, is like, what is the vibe of the dream? So like when I say that, like, is there a sense of fear in the dream? Is there a sense of powerlessness that I have? If there's a sense of fear, then I can usually point out that, you know, the fear part of it is going to be the enemy, trying to like make me feel some type of way about this dream. Now, even in the same dream, there could be like glory, you know, and peace. So like, I think for me, that's where it comes back to having to pray on it and writing it down, and also writing down the feelings. Cause I had a dream recently that I kind of want to tell you guys about. That was like, it was a little weird. I don't know if you guys like want to hear it or not, but I was like,
curious.
you know, it was pretty juicy, as I would say. So let me pull it up here.
You wrote it down.
I wrote it down. Well, kind of just the basic tenets of it. Now, this dream was kind of in a setting of enlightenment. So like, and it was also like there was a lot of intellectuals around. And basically, think of it like, okay, this is a setting. We're in like an open field, but it's cloudy out. We're in an open field, and there's like, we'll say, you know those picnic tables, like the wooden picnic tables that you can maybe see like 6 people on? Okay, there's one, I'm at one of those, and there's about, I would say, 20 to 24 other ones of them with other people on them. 4 people at each table. And we all have these, everybody's different race, but we all have different, we have these cloaks on. We have a kind of like a cape, and like, it kind of like, that's why I say like kind of like a scholastic type of vibe. And we're all sitting down, and we all have papers in front of us. And then from in the middle of all of the tables emerges this figure. And from my dreaming and what I was really feeling, I was like, oh, this is literally Trump.
The figure. The
figure was Trump, yes. And it's not like I saw the hair or anything, but I was like, that was a feeling. I was like, okay, this is him. And basically, we have all these papers in front of us. And basically, once we see this figure emerge, he starts to give out a speech. He starts speaking. Mm-hmm. But many times during the speech, myself and others were raising our hands. We're not even raising our hands. We are objecting to things that this figure is saying. Like, we're like basically saying, wait a second. This legal precedent says that you can't do this, and that's, you know, like, this can't happen.
So you are like political counselors. Like, you guys have a political say.
Yeah, in a sense, but more so like it felt like this figure was proposing some sort of bill or something that they had thought of, or it was like in a speech form. And then we were like, wait a second, this says this, and it was like many, many times. And then at the end of the speech, this figure is like, all right, so what do you guys think about it? You know, can we move forward with it? And after we had made all the amendments and everything from those hand raises, it was like, all right, so we he signed it, and then from there, this figure turns into a being, like a rock being, like with, honestly, the way I thought of it was like Thanos. Honestly, like that's probably the best way to visualize it. Thanos, when he got that 5th Infinity Stone, he became really all powerful, and then he became like this immortalized being after the treaty was signed. And then the dream ends. But I just thought that was interesting. It was an interesting dream that I had this week. I was like, wow.
That is interesting. How all the people were from different places, and there was a leader in power, and you guys had the ability to like veto the leader. That is pretty curious.
Yeah. I don't know what it signifies, but I just thought it was interesting.
You can come across a brew who has the gift of interpreting dreams. I feel like I kind of had at a point, but yeah, man, that is interesting. I think time also confirms stuff too. There are confirmations or 2 or 3 witnesses, quote unquote, that will confirm dreams. Remember I was smoking a lot. I wasn't dreaming, and so I would end up in other people's dreams, strangers and people that I knew. I've already told you guys about this. It's been like 7 or 8 dreams, and all of them had the same themes, similar themes, different situations, end times, destruction, protecting, and all this stuff. And it was like the Most High was trying to tell me things about you're going to be using an end times or something like that. You know what I mean? Or you're going to be, you're going to have I better get right now, you know? And then I've been having a lot of my own dreams lately, a lot of different, I won't go into them, but, like I said, for me, it's prayer and discernment. I do think there's certain knowledge you can inherently have that does help you predict dreams. Example, Joseph or Yosef, he was a shepherd. All he did was look at stars all night. And so when the Most High gave him the dream about the sun and the moon and the stars bowing down to him, which signified the 12 tribes, he was versed in what the book of Job, chapter 32 or 38, calls the Mazzaroth, which in Hebrew means zodiac. Now, there's a righteous understanding and Hebraic understanding of the zodiac, and then there's a worldly pagan way. But he had knowledge of the constellations, the moon, the stars, what they meant, the story of the world from the beginning to the end, the Most High already engraved in the constellations. And that, I think that gave him certain knowledge about his dreams, or in the person who interpreted the dreams to him. And then he, eventually interpreted the dreams to Pharaoh, right? So I do think there's knowledge, deeper wisdom that we could come across that helps interpret dreams. And I also think the Ruach can reveal something to you, through prayer, fasting, meditation. And I do think there's a confirmation of things across witnesses. So that's the 3 ways I feel dreams. Your knowledge, the Ruach, or 2 or 3 witnesses or confirmations.
Yeah, that's real. Okay.
Someone want to kill the bug?
It's okay.
Go to the podcast.
Okay.
So,
alternative thought? Yeah.
Do we have time for it? I feel like dreams should have been it. Should we just go straight to financial news?
Alright.
whatever y'all want to do.
We're at 2 hours.
Whatever y'all want to do.
Financial news.
The stock market. Now listen, guys. None of this is considered financial advice. You do with this information as you please. But
I'm going to use it. I'm going to apply the information.
Just so you know, it's going to be too late to talk about those things 2 weeks later, by the way. It's going to be just outdated.
I disagree. You don't know when the moon face video even came out.
It's the 24th. It's going to be outdated. We're not recording next week, and then we're in. So yeah, 2 weeks later, it's going to be too late. That's all I'm saying.
let's do it then.
Okay, let's go. All right.
Well, no financial news. No financial news, dadgummit. Do your own research. No financial advice.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about alcohol sales.
Yeah. For real.
It was related to the stocks. But anyways. All right, let's get into alternative thoughts. So this week, Brandon sent us an article, or it's a video, where there are people that have been diagnosed with some form of a disease where they are seeing other human faces as being distorted and portraying demonic-like features on people. And it's very disturbing to these people. It's like they just wake up one day and all of a sudden people are showing with pointed ears and elongated faces, and they're looking demonic. It sounds like a nightmare, literal nightmare. Imagine waking up.
There's only they say on the news there's only 70 to 80 reported cases. I'm gonna just tell you straight up. I think we're heading into time. CERN is going to be turned back on during April 8th. Rocket shot up in the sky named after servants by NASA on April 8th. There's a lot of things going on. I think we're going to head into a time of spiritual sensitivity, where a lot of us are going to be able to literally see the demons in people, possibly. We're going to be able to, and, to make us look crazy, certain people who can see these things look crazy. Let's go ahead and set up and drop that this is actually a mental disease or condition in people's mind. It's a way to,
Transgenderism, not a mental illness.
Yeah.
Seeing demons in real time.
Yeah.
Mental illness.
I didn't think of it from that perspective at all, but it makes sense. I was thinking of it more of the sense of like something with the snake bite causing people to start viewing things in a different lens, as well as from the other side of it, these demons inhabiting people, as well as really inhabiting people. Like, I'm not just like saying like, oh, he's dealing with a spirit of lust. No, like actual like taking on the skin of a person, like the skinwalkers, and like we're seeing them start to come out of their, like, the bodies that they're in. It's not working for them anymore, basically. But I thought of it in that sense of conditioning.
Skinwalkers are real. Like, there's really beings out here just wearing humans, just walking around.
I think there's all different types of crazy creatures that the Bible has talked about that we don't realize.
I definitely think that they're bodysuits. They're skin suits for sure. Like, people can be in these skin suits. But I think it's just like conditioning us to the idea that people don't look like people. And Men in Black
reptilians
puts it puts it right in our face.
Draconian.
But
another video surfaced this week. It said, according to the video, it was time stamped as like March 24th, a couple of days ago, where this man is recording the moon on a camera, not a phone, and he's pretty adamant about the fact that this is not any sort of a altering of the image or any filter, and that when he zoomed all the way in, you could see a face being reflected off from the sun. The light from the moon was reflecting a face of stone, almost like a giant stone face. It looked like some kind of a sleeping beast.
If I just had to ballpark how big that face is, there's no way to even guess it. That could be like the size of a whole city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like extremely far away, but huge, like way bigger than the moon.
And we didn't even think about the body.
Like, bruh, that's women just woke up in the video and busted. Oh my god.
Some things like that scares me. Like, is there really just a giant stone creature stuck in the firmament?
It could be a fallen. Wait a minute. The Book of Enoch talks about how the Most High, the stars imprison the watchers.
Yeah.
Could it be that it's an imprisoned watcher? The Book of Enoch
they're going to be unchained at the end of time. Unchained. They're going to be basically unbound.
Yo, yeah. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah, I just think it's wild. That unaltered video he was able to capture that, and it literally goes to show me that, like, bro, the firmament is so real. I think it's like, well, we're not floating in space, clearly. And it's just like, I don't know, y'all. The government's starting to unseal all these documents about UFOs and stuff, so they're just preparing us for all this. But when I see things like that, that reminds me of the what happened in the Miami Mall, with those beings there, those 16-foot beings. But that one was so much bigger, and it's like, bruh, it's
People
just
will start
crazy
to
times.
actually genuinely lose their mind when
Yeah.
if they ever encounter something like that is so mind bending
Yeah, it
that
is.
you would never be the same. Like people think they're dealing with mental health and all
Yeah.
these things about mental health right now. No, mental health issues will be on an all-time high
Mm-hmm.
the first time that any of these beasts reveal themselves in public and a person actually has that life-changing experience where they
Yeah.
like see something that's unearthly and
That's why you need the most
questions
eyes.
questioning everything you've ever believed.
Yeah.
Enoch Tanakh, or Enoch 21. Then I made a circuit to a place in which nothing was completed. This is Enoch traveling with the angel. Then I made a circuit to a place in which nothing was completed. So he's in a place where whatever creation is around us, it wasn't completed yet, right?
Oh, wow.
And there I beheld neither the tremendous workmanship of an exalted heaven nor of an established earth, but a desolate spot, prepared and terrific. There too I beheld 7 stars of heaven bound in together like great mountains and like a blazing fire. I exclaimed, for what species of crime have they been bound, and why have they been removed to this place? Then Uriel, which is the angel of visions, one of the holy angels who was with me and who conducted me, answered, Shanach, or Enoch. Wherefore do you ask? Wherefore do you reason with yourself and anxiously inquire? These are those of the stars which have transgressed the commandment of El Elyon, and are here bound until the infinite number of days of their crimes be completed. This is Enoch 18:14-16. And there I beheld 7 stars. Some say the Palladius. There I beheld 7 stars, which with like great blazing mountains, and like Ruakoth, or demons, entreating me. Then the angel said, this place, until the consummation of heaven and earth, will be the prison of the stars in the host of heaven. The stars which roll over fire are those which transgress the commandment of Elohim before their time arrived. For they came not in their proper season. Therefore was he offended with them and bound them until the period of the consummation of their crimes in the secret year.
So they're in jail.
We could be looking at one of these bound fallen angels.
That's going to be released. Potentially released.
I mean, it sounds like the right time for them to be released, as you see the CERN particle collider really starting to heat
Shooting
up.
rockets towards the moon.
Yeah. Huh?
What are they trying to? They're trying to release them.
Yeah.
The
Why they trying
CERN,
to shoot the
seed of Satan, releasing rockets towards the moon. Now we're seeing video of this.
Moon.
Hey man, look, man, who knows?
Repent.
Repent.
Yo, for real, because there's not the time to be playing, but I mean, like, it's just, it's so evident that extraterrestrial beings, whether you want to call them, aliens, UFOs, in my opinion, demons, are here. They're here, and they're really going to start making a case for themselves, especially with this 2030 agenda that the UN is putting together, I think, because there's just so much conditioning around them. Like, there's the 3-body problem. That's the show on Netflix.
I started watching that last night.
I'm on the
Because you told
second
me about
episode.
it.
I just finished the second
I'm
episode.
on the first episode. Yeah,
I'm
I
on the
started
second,
watching
but-
it after we ran, and you were telling me about it. I was like, let me go and see, just check this out.
Yeah.
It's jumping around a little bit. It starts off
It takes
in China,
a minute, yeah.
and then now I'm in London, and
I'm about to finish. I'm like halfway through the second episode, but it's just
the conditioning. Yeah, they continue to show us.
it's literally CERN, So
Okay.
yeah.
So you don't have at least one little piece of financial advice before we go?
Okay, think about
She trying to get her
if you're
money
gonna be in
up.
the stock market, think about stocks that are going to do well in a recession. Alcohol is going to be up during a recession for sure, but there's a lot of others. Johnson & Johnson, they're going to be up during a recession because they are a company that produces goods that are necessary. Toilet paper, cleaning
vaccines.
supplies, vaccines, pharmaceuticals. They're in all those things. They're in so many consumer goods. So think about them. Grocery stores.
Kroger, Walmart.
That's major. And unfortunately, a major area that the United States is built on is the defense industry. So the defense industry
yeah,
is
that's
going
good.
to be booming with all this World War III news. Okay, guys, because listen,
No, that's facts.
all
That's
these
facts
contracts
about
are going to
defense
have to be paid
contracts.
for,
Yeah.
and they're going to go towards the Northrop Grumman's, to the to the Lockheed Martins, to those major companies that bid for these contracts. Boeing, Northrop Grumman, like there's a lot of them out there. So think, like, if you're in the stock market, it's not financial advice, that government, but think about those companies that would benefit from a recession happening and also from a lot of change happening. I'm not saying that there's going to be a recession this year, but we are due for a recession here I would for sure in the next 3 to 5 years, if not before. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's financial news.
Good stuff.
There you go, man. That's our episode of Kingdom OutKast.
Thank you, guys.
Got anything else?
Out.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Shalom. Like, dislike, share, subscribe.
Don't know the dislike.
Dislike.
Comment. No, comment your dislike.
Yeah. Yes. Wish a nigga would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you'd like to donate to Kingdom OutKast Pod, so we can invest in this, better visuals, better audio, all those type of things. Kingdom OutKast Pod on Cash App. For sure.
Yes, sir. But thank you guys for checking us out. Shalom.
Peace.
Deuces.